Welcome back to the Haddonfield Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror movie franchises. I'm your host, Mark, and I'm joined by Tawan and Maria once again as we cover Scream 22, which we've built up to this for the past 2 months or so. So I'm excited. But before we get into any of that, I'll give you guys a little plot summary. 25 years after brutal murders shocked the quiet town of Woodsboro, a new killer donning a Ghostface mask begins targeting a group of teenagers to resurrect secrets from the town's deadly past. But who is this generation's Ghostface killer? So, what did you guys think overall? Just go for it. What did you think leading up to the movie, and then when you finally saw it? Did it meet your expectations?
I would say the movie definitely met my expectations for like a Scream movie. But even just before that, I will even leading up to it, I will say I just really like the amount of marketing that they put into the movie. Like I wasn't like really like much on like Twitter and stuff. Like when Scream 4 was coming out, like I was on Twitter, but I wasn't like really into it like I am now. But like I see a lot of people they say like the marketing for Scream 4 like was basically like non-existent at the time, and a lot of people are saying like they can tell like they put a lot of money into the marketing for this one, and so can I. Like
They did like that poster
they
they
did a
had in
lot.
England,
Yeah, they did a lot of like
the
cool stuff.
cereal, which I really wanted.
Yeah, I wanted that also. But they did a lot of stuff with like the marketing for this movie. Like I saw it everywhere. I saw the cast everywhere. Like YouTube, like everything's on YouTube. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see ads on there a lot. But my friends say they saw a lot of Scream ads on YouTube and like just on like TikTok and things like that. So
Oh
the
yeah, I saw the TikTok and it had like the face filters, and then on Twitter, if
yeah.
you like the post that had like hashtag Scream, when you like the post, it like had like a slash, which was I thought was really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, and they even have like a they even did like a ghost face costume in Among Us, which is perfect because you have to find the
Yeah, I saw
imposter. So I'm like that.
that.
That's actually kind of funny too. So the amount of marketing they put into this, like prior to the movie, was like really good, which got me excited because,
But
you
it
know,
didn't spoil anything, which is like the best part.
yeah, that also is true. Yeah, I didn't like aside from just guesses here and there. I was definitely like going into it not knowing much. Like we just knew who was in it, and it's a Scream movie, so put two and two together. But outside of that, like they did a good job with the trailers and everything. Like even though I tried not to watch the trailers, I couldn't help but rewatch some of them, including like the final one. And even then, they still didn't like show much of anything. I would say so. Yeah, I think like the marketing portion of things, like leading up to the movie, they did a really good job with it. And
I
um,
only saw that first trailer. I didn't see anything after that. That I saw that first trailer the day it dropped, and then that was it.
Yeah, I watched the other ones myself, and even still, then they really didn't show much. I would say like outside of those, maybe probably just like different angles and stuff, shots we've already seen in like the first trailer. So they did good with like not leading up to it. So yeah, kudos to them for that. Because plus at this day and age, like companies just shoot random scenes for trailers anyway. Marvel does it all the time, or just
Which I
editing
love.
stuff.
I actually love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I love that too, because I was definitely bamboozled by a couple, especially like leading up to Avengers, certain things that were in the trailer, or like the latest Spider-Man movie. Certain shots were like edited so they didn't show certain things. So yeah, that was good, and I liked everything leading up to it.
What about you, Maria? Did you
Yeah, I
enjoy it
felt
overall?
like I did. Like I felt like you saw it like everywhere. Like Ghostface became like really popular again. You saw it like people would like cosplay him like on TikTok and stuff. And yeah, like the marketing was crazy. Like they really it was literally everywhere. Like everybody was talking about it and they just kept like, hyping it up. Um and I was excited for it, but I was also kind of like nervous, I guess, because I wasn't. Because I mean, what if it wasn't good? I feel like it happens a lot where
Yeah,
like they like market movies and then everybody's excited. It looks cool, like the ads, the trailers look amazing, and you get excited, and then you go watch it, and then like
Like Halloween Kills, big disappointment.
oof. Yeah,
Yeah, so it
that's how
was,
I felt also.
yeah, so I was like, I mean, the ride was definitely, I mean, yeah, honestly, I think I just saw the first trailer. I didn't see the other ones because I don't really like to watch trailers because I don't want to be like disappointed, you know? Like, what if there's a scene in the trailer? You get excited about the scene and then it's not in the movie. This happened a lot. So I wasn't really like,
That
I was trying to
happened with me
avoid.
in this, and I was kind of let down, but also I still liked how they misled me. Because like in the trailer, when the killer is like, "Hello, Sydney, it's an honor," but they never actually said that in the fucking
Yeah, I
movie.
was I was kind of waiting on that too. But then
Oh, yeah.
when I saw where they actually used it, I was like, oh damn, that stings a little more.
It does. And let's talk about that because for three sequels, I've been begging for Dewey to die, and
And
then
you got it.
they killed Dewey, and I felt so sad. I was like, oh shit. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
because he's not the same Dewey he was in the other movies. Like he's mature this time, and he was like broken down and like an alcoholic, and he wasn't with Gail. He was like all sad and pathetic, and I was like, oh no, I wanna give Dewey a hug. And then that's actually my favorite death because of how brutal it was. Like
yeah, they went for it with him,
she stabbed him in both places he was stabbed
and
previously,
then ran the knives up. That's why
and
I was
then
like, oh shit.
it was so fucking. I was like, and then it's an honor. And when she said it, I was like, damn, that's what that came from.
Yeah,
I was broken. I was like, damn.
yeah,
And he was like, I gotta go
that
back. I
was
gotta go back to make sure to double tap. And I was like, no.
yeah. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, here we go. Because I'm like, what? I'm like, Dewey, my man, you can do that from a distance.
Yeah, the fact that he went back by himself. I was like, no, you should know better than to go back by yourself.
I'm
And
like,
just
you
to
don't got
do
to be
that.
at point blank range, my guy.
Yeah, like he had a gun, like just shoot him from far away.
Well, since I kicked it off, what are you some of your like favorite scenes or moments for the movie?
The opening, the opening, I love the opening in this movie. Like the opening in this one is like definitely up there for me. Like I would probably say like prior to this, probably like Scream, like well, of course like the first one, and maybe like Scream 3. I like the one with Kaiden as well, but this one is up there. Like the tension
It
was
was so
there.
brutal.
Yes, the tension was there. It was very brutal, and the way like it was kind of like the first movie, and like the third one where like you were kind of thrown off like in the beginning. Like it started off like a regular conversation, and then you could just hear the Ghostface voice like coming out more and more
Like slowly
throughout it.
creeping out.
Yeah, like slowly creeping out, and then like, of course, you know the meta stuff was in there. Like they start bringing like the Babadook and stuff, and like I thought that was already like I was already like, okay, this is a Scream movie. Like and like how Ghostface was like there's nothing like iconic about like elevated horror or like stuff like that.
The
It was
whole
just funny.
elevated horror thing, I was like, I didn't know there was an official name for it, but I was like,
Yeah,
huh.
yeah. Yeah, I knew that one. That was so funny to me, like seeing like hearing that in the movie,
So
and
does
then but
like Get Out and Us, does that count as like elevated horror?
some people, yeah, I would say a lot of people would say yes because a lot of people put it in like movies where it's like a horror movie, but there's like a like kind of like
Social
art.
commentary?
Yeah, I will say social commentary is like one thing, and then also kind of like an art house feel to it. Like it kind of feels like it's just more stylized and things like that, in the way that it's shot, and more so like more people like make it akin to like an A24 movie, like Hereditary, Midsommar, stuff like that, because it's like it's not just it's more psychological, and it's not just immediately like we're just like killing people and things like that. So that's kind of what more people like lean on for
I should
when they.
confess, I've never seen a Babadook.
The Babadook is a good movie. It's a very good movie.
I felt like I might like it, but I remember when the Babadook came out, I was with someone who was obsessed with that movie, so I just didn't watch it on like in protest because I was annoyed, and I still haven't seen it. And then by the time I was getting around to watch the Babadook, I kept seeing all this shit on social media about how the Bobby Duke was like gay or like part of like the LGBT community,
That
and it was a whole
I
thing.
personally I never understood that where that came from, but it was just always hilarious to me seeing the movie.
And I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, go ahead, continue about the because the opening scene was great. Like the fact
Yes,
that she didn't die was a shock, but it was
yeah, that
so
was
she fucked
yes,
her
like
up
they they really went at it with her. Like I like the brutality was definitely there. Like they kicked her leg, bro, and
because
broke her
that was
fucking
Amber,
ankle.
right? That had to be Amber
Yeah,
who attacked.
that was that definitely was Amber. I'm like, yo, she fucking broke her damn leg. Like, and
Because
then when she got stabbed through the hand too, I was like, yo,
yeah, that the hand thing, like, oh, because you she went to protect her, like to stop herself from being like stabbed in the face, and then it just
yes,
went through her hand. I was like, oh, damn, and
yes.
then you heard the snap when they like stomped on her ankle. I was like, damn,
Yeah, like they messed our girl up, but I'll just give it to her because she was fighting back though. Like
she was whooping her
she was
ass.
trying to fight back. Like like some other people like they weren't doing as much. Like in Scream 4, old girl was just running around the house. Like Tara was fighting back.
Whooped her ass. What did you think of that opening scene, Maria?
I thought it was really good. Like I liked it. I like the fact that she fought back because because she fought like she punched I guess it was Amber like in the face multiple times, and and it was also really brutal, like the stab through the hand, I had to like look away because I was like, oh my God. And then when they like broke her leg, that was also, I didn't, honestly, I didn't expect so much gore, I guess, for like the first scene. I thought, they were just gonna stab her like once or twice and she's gonna fall, she's gonna die, and that's it. But no, like it was like a whole like 5 minutes before she was finally down.
Yeah, they definitely went for it, and I definitely kudos to them. That's definitely like one of my favorite like openings in Scream because one she did survive too, which is already a difference in change of pace for the movie.
Which I
But
liked.
yeah, I like that too. And but like, I was just like, damn, they like really it was pretty brutal.
But for me, I think one of my other favorite scenes, because it's so because it's when Judy and her son die. That whole
Yes,
scene when like you can tell how concerned she was when she was like, "I gotta get back. Don't do this. Don't not my kid." And then the fucked up part about it is she dies. She gets killed in broad daylight
right
outside
outside.
in the front, but she dies before knowing if her son is safe or not.
Yep.
And then he dies not knowing that his mom is dead. And so can
Hmm.
you imagine what they were thinking as they were like going out? Like that whole setup. And then all the fucking false jump scares with Wes when he was like opening every
Yes.
fucking door. It was pissing me off, bro. It was
No,
giving me
that was
anxiety.
too. I was like, here y'all go with this music.
I was like, I got so much anxiety right now. Don't do this.
Yeah,
Just pop out,
yeah,
bro.
that scene was crazy. Like like I don't I didn't personally expect the Ghostface to just come out the side like she was running up to the house and just get her like that.
Same.
Like I thought like once she got inside that was gonna happen. I was like outside in broad daylight, like yo,
They didn't give a fuck, bro. They was up in the ante. In the front porch, like on the front, like in the front of the house.
yeah. And then the way West fucking died, like how they showed the knife going in his neck, I was like,
Ugh.
yo, like they were going for it. I was like, these guys, they know what they're doing.
Any any other scenes you guys liked, Maria?
Um, the scene where Dewey dies. Um,
Is it
I
because
really
Dewey
like that
died?
scene. Oh, that, but it's also because like I don't know. I like the whole atmosphere was like I guess the way it started. They were like in the hospital. You see Tara like in her wheelchair. You're like, oh my God, how's she gonna get away?
That was a good
Um,
Halloween 2 reference, which I enjoyed.
And how like in that scene, like you could see the hand she got stabbed in. She has to use that to like push herself. It's just blood all on the wheel. I'm like, yo, that's fucking terrible.
I remember because me and Maria watched it together, and the entire time it was making a squishing sound. She was squirming a bit, and I was like, "Oh, oh no!"
Yeah, it was nasty,
I was
and
like, "Stay with me, Maria."
I
and I
can't handle gore very well.
But I love the whole hospital scene. That's like
Yeah,
my favorite scenes of like the entire movie was like that whole hospital setup
yeah,
from the
that was
call
a good one.
to being like, well, first of all, when fucking Ghostface touched the fucking button on his neck, on her neck, and the voice came out, I was like, this is so much better than that bullshit they pulled in Scream 3 with the fucking. I was like, this is believable. This is way more believable. Because
No,
that
for
bullshit
real.
they were doing in Scream 3 made no sense, but it has everybody's voice.
Yeah, that made no sense at all. And I think, at least for me, one more scene that I will say I like, just because it was funny. A callback to another movie was when fucking Amber got put on fire at the end because of the hand
Call back to
sanitizer.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, that was so funny to me because like it clicked literally in my head while I was watching it, and I was actually laughing in the theater when it happened, just because I was like, she literally died the same way in the Once Upon a Time in
But
Hollywood.
apparently that wasn't like a wink or a nod. Apparently, like the character was always written to die that way, even before they casted her. It's just like a
That
weird
makes it even
coincidence.
more funnier.
It does. It's just like a weird coincidence. What about you, Maria? Do you have any other scene or moment?
Um, I guess like the scene where I think it was Mindy, where she was like in the living room basically watching like, like the sad movie where like her uncle, like his scene, and then
Yeah,
she's
we
like,
had to
"Go
turn
turn
around.
around, yeah, and then they're coming up behind her, and then like her face, she was like, "Wait a minute," and then she turns around, and he's like right there.
I did like that one. Yeah, I did like actually. And okay, this will actually be my last one. The when Amber actually revealed herself and shot the one girl in the head.
That came out of no fucking where. I was like,
that was like that's what that shit turned out to like 10. I was like, oh damn, we're
I
at the
was
end of the
not prepared.
movie.
I was
Yeah,
not prepared. I think I was like, I had spaced out a bit, and all of a sudden the bitch pulls out a gun and starts shooting. I was like, what the fuck? I was
like she
like,
shot her ass out of nowhere. Like that was crazy.
damn. But yeah, I mean, so far like there was some definitely questionable. My other favorite scene is when we see Dewey for the first time. That was one of my favorite scenes as well. And I like that we also started with him. But I don't know. One scene I didn't like. I didn't my bad, I didn't like it. Like all the scenes with Vince, like he wasn't around long enough. He was just there, and then he
Yeah,
died. I was like, he peed on the fucking bar, and then he got killed. But no one liked him, so there's like no connection to anyone else. Like they
yeah,
didn't even mourn him. He just fucking died. I mean, but before
yeah.
this, like
Then they tell us like later he was just related to Stu, and I was like, okay,
I
that
still
was
don't
that
give a
could.
fuck. Like
I was like, I don't really care.
he could have at least beat somebody up. But let's hop into the characters. Let's start with our final war, our lead final girl, Sam, who is Billy's daughter, long lost, unknown daughter of Billy Loomis. What did you guys think about Sam and her Billy connection?
I I liked Sam. I already liked the actress because I've seen her in the movie In the Heights musical, and she was also in another show I heard, like a star show. But I saw her in The Heights, and I liked her in that, and I liked her in this as well. I thought she did pretty good job with what like in the movie. Um, I will say I didn't like it when he did his Scream 3. I don't care for much in here, but was like the whole thing of her seeing like Silly Billy, but I will say it was a cool
It
when
made
we did
more
see him.
sense in
Yeah,
this one,
yeah,
given
yeah.
that she
That's
was
what I
having
will say.
like, yeah, because they never even explained like what the fuck was happening with Sydney. Why the fuck she was seeing like,
Exactly.
was she exhausted? Was she not getting enough sleep? Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck's
like
going
at
on?
least she was like taking meds in this movie to like calm that down, and like you could see like it was something she's actually dealing with instead of it just being like a random occurrence. So I was like, okay, it's a little more forgivable. But I would say when I did see Billy pop on the screen, I was like, oh shit, that I definitely wasn't expecting to come up at all.
That was weird. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But overall, I liked her, and I thought she was a good fit for the role. I thought she did pretty good, and
I enjoyed the character too.
yeah,
I'm
I thought
I
she was
was
good.
my favorite part when she was like, "People are dying. They try to kill my sister again. We're getting the fuck out of town. We're leaving." I was like, about fucking time someone says some shit like this. Get the fuck
No,
out of
for real.
Woodsboro. I was like,
I'm
what
like,
the
I'm gone. Like, me and mine, we out.
fuck? What about you, Maria?
I liked her too. I thought, yeah, I thought she was great. Like, being the lead. I loved her when she was like, "We gotta fucking go." Like, yeah, like leave. Like,
Smart decision.
yeah, like this guy is after you, attacking you everywhere. Well, now you gotta leave. And I also didn't. I guess like same thing. Like, I don't understand the whole like her seeing Billy thing, especially like towards the end. Um, when like she has to kill, when she has to,
Archie.
yeah, and like she sees him and they like give each other like smile and they nod. It's like, okay,
My thing is,
like
so while he was so after he killed Maureen, while he was killing Tatum, the principal, kidnapping Sydney's mom, stalking Sydney, setting up Cotton Weary, they do what going over plans and details with Stu, doing all that shit he did in the first movie. He was fucking some other girl on the side and got her pregnant.
that's what I thought too. I was like,
I was like,
hold on,
I
like
feel like if he was building up to all this shit to do with Sydney and was killing people and all this shit in the first, when did he have time to go fuck some random chick on the side? Like what the fuck?
And we saw how he was trying to get Sydney to fuck him all the time. I was like, well, I guess he said, I'm gonna get it one way before I go.
I mean, I guess because I don't.
oh, that makes a lot of
It,
sense.
yeah, it also it was never stated that he was a virgin, but I was like he had too much shit to be he was doing too much shit to be. But
Yeah, I
whatever.
feel like he was so like obsessed with like Sydney and her family that I'm like, you really just want to go like, like you really want to go fuck somebody else?
So like I have to see Sam's
Yeah.
mom. I'm like I want to know like what sh-
Well, and I also
like revert like what diverted you from your path temporarily.
and I
Like
also didn't like the whole like, well, she was like in love with him. Like, really? With Billy? Like, I mean, he was kind of. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he wasn't much in like the first movie, and for her to be like, yes, he's like amazing or whatever. Like, I'm gonna fuck this man one way, and then she got pregnant, and I don't know. It just didn't seem like. Um, it just. It was
also
just.
like the timeline was weird. So
Yeah,
Sam
yeah.
Sam left when she was 18 and hadn't spoken to her sister in 3 years. The math isn't adding up for me because Billy died in what? Well, actually, it does. Billy died in what 96. The movie came out in 96, so she'd been born in 97. No, that still don't make sense. No, that's still off because old girl is at least like 24. So like, what the fuck?
Did they say how
That
old
did
she was in the movie or no?
well. If she's Billy's daughter, that means she had to be born in 97.
Yeah, cause
And
she be 24. I'm
yeah,
23.
and
I was
so
born
she left when
98.
she was 18, but you haven't seen your sister since, haven't talked to your sister in 3 years. Like, writer person, your math was wrong because now I'm confused. And like, what the fuck going on? I was like,
Yeah, I
wait,
think that's what was like. That's what I was thinking a lot while I was watching the movie. I'm I was trying to do the math. So I'm like, wait, so she had her when she was 16, and it's been like 5 years, and she met this other dude, and I don't know. I feel like all that math, and
well, no, she was
it was
already
just,
with, Tara's dad, but she was cheating on Tara's dad with Billy. So when she got pregnant and
ah,
Billy became the known serial killer, she was just like, yeah, this is your baby. This is
Yeah.
our baby together. And
But why
then,
would she still have those notebooks? I get it, she was in love with him, but he's a serial killer.
yeah,
And
you
then,
burn that
like,
shit. You burn it.
exactly, like, why would you have that around the house?
Also,
Where,
if
and it
you're
wasn't even in a hidden place. It was in the closet, like, or
yeah,
up in the
and
attic.
if
Yeah, it was attic.
you're passing on someone's kid as somebody else's, you should definitely hide the evidence that spells out this baby is Billy Loomis is not my husband who I've been telling it was since we were in high school. Like you don't keep that shit around.
Definitely.
You tell your mother so she can help you bury the secret, and that's it. You burn all evidence. But let's move on to Vince, who is Stu's nephew, and that's literally all we know about him because we saw him twice. He was outside the school, and then he was at the bar. Were we supposed to think he was a suspect? Because if he was a red herring, they killed him way too soon.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be a red herring the way he like he just had that look to him, and then he was dead like literally that same scene, and I was like, well, okay,
I feel like they got rid of him too soon. I'm like, you should have kept him, like, cause they should have kept him around for the like for most of the movie, but they just killed him 3 scenes later.
yeah. So
I'm
I
like,
didn't really
we
care
barely.
for
He
him.
said like 4 lines the entire movie and was gone.
And they made him like a creep for like no, I feel like no reason, like, I mean, he was, this older kid who was hitting on this teenager, and obviously he's like crazy, and then he dies. Like, what was the whole point of leading? Like, it felt like there was no point in leading up to that like tension of them in the bar.
Yeah, and then finding out 20 and 30 minutes after he's off the screen that he's Stu's nephew. I'm like, yeah, this would have worked better if he was alive to hear this, or if he was the one saying it, or maybe You guys think I'm the killer because I'm like my uncle Stu. Like that would have been more impactful. Just be like, oh yeah, he was Stu Mocker. Stu Mocker was his mom's brother.
Yeah, it didn't really work for me. Or more so, I didn't care for him.
Yeah, he was there. So let's move on to Chad, Randy's nephew. I have to say, Chad had one of the best lines in the entire movie when he was like, you know, yeah, I've been trying to have sex with you, and going upstairs to have sex would be great, but like there's a killer going around, and bitch, you could be that killer, so we should just stay down here and make out where people can see us. I was like, he's smart.
I
I'm not
was like,
even
he's
mad.
just like his uncle.
Like, he's like, I want the pussy, but you could kill me, so we gotta postpone until afterwards.
And I
I
felt that.
support it.
Yeah, I like Chad. And it was funny. I like they're like actually like even though he like didn't have like the most lines, they made him like funny and not just like some jock who was just there. Like he was actually funny. Like even though it was a corny line when he was gonna um when he was gonna like square up with Vince, he busted out his like biceps. Was like, I'm gonna go give him a talk from Hobbs and Shaw. I thought that was funny. It was corny, but it was funny.
Yeah, that I had an awkward laugh. My theater had like an awkward laugh when he said that. I was like, no,
Yeah, like it was
please
like
no.
a corny funny, but like I mean Randy made corny funny jokes too, and I like the character though, and also his sister.
What about you? Did you like Chad, Maria?
I mean, I honestly, I didn't really like think much of him. I think the most like he like stood out for me like during the whole movie was yeah when he said that one line where he was like, yeah, we're not gonna go upstairs by ourselves. Why would we do that? But that was it. And then I think even like his kill scene didn't really, or well, not his kill scene, but like his scene where he got stabbed. Also didn't stand out to me. I
I'm
mean, I'm glad that he survived. That was great, but
I'm
I'm glad
shocked
that
he survived. I I thought he was dead from how the scene like cut away, and I was like, wait, They pull the fucking Dewey. They do that like twice, where they pull
yeah.
like, you thought he was dead, but he's not. He's around still.
Yeah, I thought he was dead too. I was glad when he wasn't though. But yeah, I definitely thought he was dead, and it was funny how they used like the fucking like Find My iPhone for like that scene. And then you could just hear the beeping getting closer because he wasn't able to turn his off because the killer was getting closer to him.
Like throw the fucking phone. In my
No,
head I was like
literally,
throw it.
that's literally what I said. I said, throw that shit. Throw it.
But what about his sister? What about Mindy,
Mi-
Randy's niece? What do you think about Mindy, Maria?
I liked Mindy. I liked her a lot.
I
I
did
thought she
too.
was funny,
she
and I
was
thought
my
that she
fave.
and she was smart. And yeah, she stood out to me more than like her brother. Her kill scene was also. I liked the whole like her kill scene basically kind of being the same as her uncle's because I feel like between her and Chad, she was more like her uncle than he was. And if you notice, like her outfit looks kind of similar to his in that
But
scene.
unlike her uncle, she was getting the girls. Because poor Randy never got the girls, but she did. She was getting the girls. Still, also surprised that she didn't die. I was for sure. Like once I found out there were twins in the movie, I was like, okay, one of the twins is gonna die, but they both survived.
I was glad they both survived too.
And I love the whole couch scene. Like we're watching her watch Stab. I also like that we got to see more Stab.
Yes.
I was like, ah, yes, this is we're seeing more scenes from Stab. And
Yeah, I liked it, and I like Mindy's character. She was like a combo between Randy and Kirby because she had like that cool edge like Kirby had in four,
mm-hmm.
but the like the movie knowledge of like Randy. So I thought that was like real cool. And she was just like it was just in like her whole breakdown of like fucking like requels. That was
The
just so funny.
Rickles,
That
and
was
she
so
was
funny.
calling shit out. Was she was calling out like Halloween 2018, or you can't be like Jigsaw or Chucky. I'm like I was like, oh shit, they actually going there.
Yeah, and it was the one part that was so funny was how they said even like the guy who directed Knives Out did Scream 8, and he did the Last Jedi Star Wars movie, which was
Which
8,
everyone
which
hates.
everyone hated. And I thought that was so funny. I'm like, they are hilarious right now.
That's hilarious. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I was like, damn, they called him out. But
But
yeah,
I do like that most of their movie criticism was focused on Stab itself and
yeah,
not like other horror movies. And I was like, okay, yes, they're talking about the in-universe franchise, which I've been waiting for them to do.
yep. And it was yeah, I thought it was good. Overall, I liked her character a lot. Glad her and her brother are alive because definitely want to see more of them. And just her like banter in the movie, like when she went to the basement with the
With
old girl.
Amber, that was one of
Yeah,
my favorite scenes. That
yeah,
was so tense.
yeah. It was very tense. Like like in like just her like saying like when Richie went to the basement, she was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna die," like something like that. Like it was just really fun.
I liked Mindy. But what you guys think about her whole requel theory in general? Because to be honest, this is my first time hearing the term requel, and I was like, huh, that's actually a perfect word for what the fuck is going on nowadays.
Yeah,
I
I
liked her commentary on it. I kind of agreed.
Yeah, I agree for the most part also, and I never heard anybody claim it like call it a requel before, and I was like that fits actually, and then
Definitely
it
gonna be called that now.
yeah, it definitely fits like the whole thing that is happening with these movies and like what they become. Like at this point, Halloween is like a choose your own adventure because you could just
It's
choose,
so fucking
you could
annoying.
just pick like which timeline you want to watch at this point for Halloween.
And see, I'm okay with that if they finish a fucking storyline good, but they don't. Like every time they end the fucking storyline, it's always on a cliffhanger and it makes no fucking sense. But that's a rant from the episode.
Yeah, so I liked her theory. I like they came up with a name for it because we all know what these are, but we just never nobody really had like a name for it. And Requel, honestly, it just fits. Even though
It fits.
it sounds funny, it fits though.
It definitely fits. Now we have sequel, prequel, and a requel. And I feel like everyone's pretty much doing requels now. I mean, she called out Star Wars too, and I was like,
Yep.
I might did just throw everything in there. Cool, bet. But let's talk about Wes. Honestly, I did not think Wes was gonna die. He's also named Wes in honor of Wes Craven, the man who directed the first four movies in the series. I did not think he was gonna die.
I
I was shocked.
I think I don't know if I felt like he was going to die Now, okay, now,
He was on my suspect. I thought he was going to be one of the killers.
yeah, he was on my suspect list just because I was like, well, he's the first person to tell Sam, so I don't know. Like he, I don't know. I guess I was like, he the reason why she came back because he's the first one to
Hmm.
tell her. So I was like, okay, maybe he got something to do with it. But
And his mom's a cop. I was like, he know like information on the investigation because his mom was the sheriff, so it gives him insight.
yeah, I would say like that. The other things, yeah, I kind of thought so. But also, I felt like he just felt like like a little soft boy. Like he was just there for his friends. But
I
he,
couldn't tell if I couldn't tell if he was into Tara or was just like an overly protective like older brother figure. I couldn't get a good read on it. But I thought he was the killer though. What about you, Maria?
Yeah, I thought he was definitely on my like suspect list because like in the beginning they were like when Tara and Amber were like talking, I think um they mentioned, oh, like is what still bothering you, and I'm like, but then like throughout the movie, they look like regular friends, so I was like, that's kind of weird. um and then he's the one who called the sister to come back, which I also thought was kind of weird. But I thought he was gonna play like a bigger role, besides being like, Judy's
Same.
son.
yeah,
I
me
thought he
too.
was gonna like. I mean, I figured if he was gonna be like a red herring, they would do like a better job of it, I guess. But you just get like a little suspicious, and then he dies.
See, after the conversation with Dewey when they all met up when he was like explaining everything to them, I thought it was him, 'cause especially when they're like, it's the legacy, the people who are connected to the legacy characters. You know, Vince is Stu's son, and I'm Billy's daughter, and you're fucking we're Randy's niece and nephews. And he was like, "Well, my mom is one of those survivors." And I'm like, "Nah, dude, no one cares." I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Okay." I was like, "You know what? That's motive." His mom was part of the killings that didn't really make big press, so he wants his time in the sunshine, his time in the sun. Whatever the fuck the saying goes. He wanted his 15 minutes. I was like, that's his motive, and then I was completely wrong. But also, since 13 Reasons Why, every time I see the actor's face, I'm always suspicious. But what about Tara?
Loved her. I love
She,
Tara.
I don't like. They beat Tara's ass. Like I feel like out of everything, every character in this movie or in the franchise, like the things they did to her throughout the movie, I have never seen this in the franchise before. Like from the opening attack to the hospital shit to the shit that happens to her and the climax. Like damn, like y'all
Yeah,
keep whooping Tara's ass the whole fucking movie.
yeah,
She ain't got no more blood left. Leave her alone.
yeah. My girl needed some rest after the movie. She needed it because she definitely got messed up. But I loved her character. Like I like that act. That actress Jenna, I know her name, Jenna
I love Jenna
Ortega.
Ortega.
I loved her, yeah, before the movie because I liked her in The Babysitter and also when she was
I
in,
love her in You.
yeah, season 2 of You. I remember her there, and I like the actress, and she was, I liked her in this movie. She was good, like her at the beginning, like she did really good, like the scenes and everything, like she was just like really good, like her like horror face, like when she was like scared and everything, like she did really good with her scenes in the movie. And she's like still like pretty. She's pretty young. Like she's very good for like her age.
What about you, Maria? Did you like Tara?
I liked her. I agree though. They did beat her ass the whole movie. Um, but she was smart. I don't know. I really liked her a lot. I
She's
liked
a
that.
fighter.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I like that she had survived. I mean, again, she like punched Ghostface like a couple times, and she got him good. I was like, oh my god, this girl's strong.
When she was at her crutch to beat Amber, that was funny.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like honestly, her like in the beginning, she was great. She fought, and same thing like towards the end. She was, even though she was hurt and she was like, walking around in crutches, like she still fought, and she did great. I did suspect her though, like for like a second, a couple times, I guess. I thought that maybe it was like a whole um you know how like in the first movie Billy and Stu they were gonna like hurt each other so that it looks like, they were also victims. I thought that's what was going on here, but they just did a better job of it. Um, Especially because, also when she was looking for like her inhaler and she was like, we have to go to like Amber's house, like she has an extra one. And I'm like, do you really have to go to Amber's house? Like,
Yeah.
They gave me Get Out
um,
vibes when
yeah, I was like,
the dude's girlfriend was like fake looking for the keys. That's the kind of vibes I got. I was like, this bitch, she one of them.
Personally, I never thought she
yeah,
was the killer, in my opinion.
The inhaler moment was the only time I thought about that, and then it quickly went away, like instantly. Once they got to Stu's house, I knew it was Richie, cause like his vibe changed. His vibe changed because at first he was like, "We need to leave town, we need to leave town," and now he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a beer from downstairs." I'm like, "What?"
yeah,
I'm like, "You were just all concerned, but now that you're here, you're relaxed and you're chill." I'm like, "Yeah, it's Richie." I look, yeah, that I knew.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I personally, yeah, I didn't think it was Tara, but yeah, Richie, Richie was on my
I
list
liked
just
her
because he
though.
was the boyfriend.
Yeah, the inhaler, the asthma thing was stupid, but the inhaler thing is stupid. I have asthma. That's why I think the whole inhaler asthma part was stupid because I suffer from it myself. But let's move to the hallucinations of Billy Loomis. The de aging CGI was not great. It could have been better, you know, but it was okay. What do you guys think?
Uh, yeah, it could have been better. To be honest, like I could tell that they were de aging him, but then also at the same time, like, is he supposed to just be older now? Like, I couldn't tell if he was trying to look younger or if they were just trying to
He
have
was
him.
trying to look younger, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, I could tell if they were trying to have him look younger or if they were just like having him as the age he is now with the same clothes on. I was like, it's a little confusing, but I really wasn't even. I personally didn't like care too much when I did see it.
If he wasn't talking, it would have worked for me. But the fact that he was talking is what killed. Like, if she was just seeing him around in the distance, that would have been perfectly okay. But he kept talking, and I was like, I'm not enjoying this. He's saying words, he's making sounds. Just stand over there and make her feel like she's going crazy. Like, don't talk to the woman. What about you, Maria?
yeah. I didn't honestly. I didn't even know they were trying to make him look younger because he just looked old in general. Like I was
Yeah.
like, I just thought like, why? Like my first thought, and I was literally thinking this until you literally said that right now. I'm like, why did they make him look so old? Like he looks old. He looks
He
like
looks younger in real life than he does in this fucking movie.
yeah. And then his whole like telling her like that, all these things. Also, I felt like was unnecessary. I don't know. I just didn't really see the point in it. I guess.
I would
I
have
get she's.
preferred. I would have preferred if she was seeing the actor who played Billy versus Billy because she's never seen Billy. She has like no. She probably seen his picture and shit, but I'm pretty sure she's seen Stab way more times than she's ever seen her biological dad in photos. So that would have been better for me. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm weird.
Yeah, that's why I was also like in my mind. I'm like, have you ever even seen him? Because I feel like if she was so like hurt about the fact that like her dad was Billy Loomis and he's a serial killer, she seemed very like against, very repulsed by the idea that I can't imagine her looking him up, see what he looks like, and
No,
then
I
being like,
feel
oh my
like
god, like
I would
that's
do
my
that.
dad.
if I found out that
Really?
my if I found that I was adopted and then like my bio dad was like a serial killer, I would watch every documentary, every like YouTube true crime video, every fucking true crime podcast. I would do a deep dive and I end up like her. I'd be as fucked up as she is because
But that's also because you and me, we both really like true crime stuff.
yeah, but also like if you remember that one of your parents went on some wild crazy murder spree, what person wouldn't go and Google that and like look that up?
I mean, as an adult, yeah, but she was like, how old was she? 10? 16?
She
I
was
forgot how old she
13.
was.
She was 13.
13. Oh,
She found out when she was 13. And I'm pretty sure by the time she was 13, you live in Woodsboro, you know about Billy Loomis and his murder spree. You've seen the Stab movie. So she probably was aware of who the fuck Billy Loomis was, and now, oh my god, it's my dad. I don't know. I just feel like if he didn't talk, it would have been so much better. But they gave him dialogue, which took me out.
Yeah, and I hope if they do make more, I really hope that does not stick around that much.
And if it does, just don't give him any dialogue. Like he needs to be seen, not heard. It's
yeah.
a famous line that all black parents have told their kids. I need you to be seen, not heard, child. Just be seen. Shut the fuck up. But let's talk about Judy. Judy was the last character I thought slash wanted to see from Scream 4. I thought they were going to completely ignore Scream 4, but they didn't. They even talked about the murders from 2011, but then it's directly linked because we have Judy. What do you guys think about seeing Judy?
Um,
She was less Dewey esque this
yes,
movie, but
yes,
so was Dewey.
and I and I
So
and I guess one that has to do with them. You know, of course they're older, and she is the sheriff now. You can still see those little Judy moments though, like the way she just like talks. And that's just the actress, so she did a good job in
she
like
left a note saying, "Wes,
the
I
limit
made lemon
squares.
squares."
I saw that too. I was like, that's funny. But yeah, she wasn't like as like I would say annoying as like her deputy character was, which I guess it's like it's been 10 years. She's the sheriff now. She's obviously not going to be Deputy Judy anymore, and I liked her character more, and I definitely felt
But
what
was there any mention of her having a kid in that last movie?
I don't remember at all.
Like, what the fuck? He came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he definitely did come out of
But
nowhere, which I guess
also, like, did they have any scenes with? I don't remember. Were there any scenes with Dewey and Judy?
in this movie
Yeah. Did they ever
I
have a
don't
scene
think
together?
so.
they did not have a scene together.
So only returning character that saw Dewey was Gail.
Yep,
That's interesting.
yep. Gail only was the only one that saw him, and then Sid, because remember Sydney only met her at the hospital.
Dewey, because Dewey, I mean, because Judy and Gail didn't have a scene, which is what I was looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I did want them to have a scene,
Yeah, that would have been fun to watch.
but yeah, the only person that did see Dewey was Gail.
That's sad.
Yeah,
But I liked Judy this time around. Like that scene of her like rushing to save Wes,
that was so
it
nerve
was
wracking.
breaking my
It
heart.
was so fucking nerve wracking watching it.
Going back and forth to the shower, which was like an homage to Psycho with the shower scene.
Yeah, they even mentioned it too. They were like, "Have you ever seen Psycho?"
That whole scene was like a tease, to be honest, because like they did that, and you thought, and they played the music. They were like, that something's gonna happen. He's gonna die in the shower. Then he gets out of the shower, and then like they don't play any music when she like runs to the front. He's right there. That got me. I was
Yeah,
like,
that got me
I
too.
jumped. I think I jumped, and then he killed her in broad daylight. And then with Wes, he's opening all the doors, and you just hear the music go da, and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna be right there, and then he's not. And then they do it again. They did it like 4 times. I was like, where is this man?
Like that whole scene. They made me like Judy in this
They
movie. I was
made
like,
you like
Yeah,
Dewey.
that too. They calmed him down, which I enjoyed a lot. But Judy's death, I was like, damn, she died not knowing if her son was okay or not.
Yeah.
yeah. Aw, why would you
Yeah.
make me think that? Why would you put that in my head? Oh, now I feel bad.
But what did you guys? But Tuan, what did you think about Dewey this time? You're also a Dewey. You're also a Dewey hater, naysayer, as I
Yeah,
am.
like yeah, like I wasn't the biggest fan of Dewey, but yeah, I will say he was just like more seasoned this time around, and like obviously I can't even say because he's been doing this with the rest of them, like the big three for like so long at this point, but like this time he didn't have Gil to rely back on. Like he was just a recluse at this point, like living on his own. Um, it's funny, kind of like the same way Jamie Lee Curtis was in Halloween. like living on his own.
Actually, a lot. He's a lot like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like a recluse living on his own, like didn't want to help or anything. And funny, and also another thing to the fucking Halloween movie when he came to the door, he actually was just for a podcast, like how they came to Jamie Lee Curtis' house for a podcast in Halloween.
I didn't even pick up on that. What the hell?
That was funny, but yeah, yeah, Dewey was like he was just chill, more chill this time around. But I guess like being through all this stuff, and he doesn't have his girl on his side anymore. Like he was just like straight to the point with it, and then you can see he was kind of like an alcoholic a little bit, and he was just he still obviously he still liked Gail. He just didn't like the life that she was trying to go for, and he's one of those like people that just like they don't leave where they come from. They just been through too much there.
I mean, also, last time he left and went to California, he was stabbed again. So why the fuck should I leave? I'm not gonna be stabbed at home. What about you, Maria?
I guess I don't know honestly how I feel about him this time around. Like I do. I mean, he wasn't as annoying as he was in the other movies. But he just looks so like
Like a
broken.
soft puppy and broken down.
Yeah, yeah, like it wasn't like honestly, it wasn't really fun to watch.
I want to give him a
Um,
hug. Like, oh,
Stop it.
fucking
Um,
dude. They made me like Dewey. Like, fuck these people, bro. I was.
but I was yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of liked them. I also really like the fact that like everything Randy told him, he holds it like so close, like he lives by those
Yes.
rules, and I love that. Like he was like, "Oh no, we gotta hit him twice, and we gotta do this, we gotta do that," and it's all stuff that Randy had told him, and he. I just thought that was so cute, because it's like Randy's like legacy in a way lives on throughout all the movies. They always talk about the rules of like the sequels, rules of horror movies, and it's all because of Randy.
Telling Sam that it's literally her boyfriend in the first like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. He was right on the fucking money.
Even Richie said it. He's like, dude, he told you, like we first got here.
I cannot imagine being Richie and like him saying right off the bat saying you're the killer and me trying not to laugh like you're right, I am the killer.
I'm like, LOL, you got me.
Like
My
we're done.
favorite part. My favorite part is when he was fighting Amber in the hospital, and she went to stab him, and he was like, "Not today," and flipped her ass over. I was like, "Oh yes."
Or I think when they were in the house in Randy's house with the sister and all the kids, and like Wes like say he was a killer. He like said something. I forget what he exactly said to him, but Dewey was like, maybe you're the killer because that cut deep. I, thought, I was like, damn, that's funny. It's one of those like classic Dewey lines.
I mean, like the things that annoyed me about Dewey, they turned it down a notch,
Yeah,
which made me like him more. And I was like, this is how subtle he was in the first movie. Because in 2, 3, and 4, they went too hard on it, and they brought it back in this one. And I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. But I will say, seeing that scene in the trailer with him in the hospital loading it, like reloading the gun, I kind of knew he was gonna die. That kind of gave it away for me. I was like, yeah, he's gonna die. They're giving Dewey a big hero moment in the trailer. He's gonna die. That I kind of knew. And I was like, this is also what's gonna bring Gail. You see, I kind of figured Dewey was gonna die, and that was gonna what was gonna bring Gail and Sydney back, and I was right. That was like an easy guess for me. But it was organic because
True.
Gail came back already because Judy died. I so wanted to see Judy and Gail. Damn. But let's talk about Gail. What do you guys think about Gail this time? We didn't really. I feel like with all three of them, less was more. The less
yes,
we saw them, so much more less, but it was so much more impactful than it was in Scream 4. But I enjoyed Gail this time. She seemed the most human in this movie than she has in any of them. What do you guys think?
yeah. It was like I don't want to say I. don't have an opinion on Gil because, to be honest, honestly, most of them they weren't in the movie that much, which is good because this was their story. But um, like she didn't have much to do, but I did like when she was there. Which is fine because I didn't want this movie to just rely on the fact that they're using
Business as usual.
yeah, like the legacy characters, and then they're gonna get shit done just because they've done this before. But I did like Gil, and um we like even like I, we knew she was gonna come back and all that stuff, but kind of forgot my train of thought for a second. But we knew she was gonna come back and everything, and I personally expected Gail to die. I thought Gail was gonna die, to be honest with you, and Dewey was gonna try to revenge on her or something, or avenge her somehow. Yeah, that's personally how I thought it was gonna go. I didn't think I like I would say Dewey dying over Gail was what I would have wanted, which did happen, but I thought Gail was gonna die.
When she was shot in the stomach, I thought she was gonna be killed too. I was like, damn, they're gonna leave this with just Sydney as the long survivor of like the trio. I surely thought she was fucking gone after she was shot in the stomach. But
Yeah,
watching her and Sydney double team Amber in the
that was
kitchen,
so funny.
fucking so good.
That was so funny.
I was looking at her when because they threw the hand sanitizer on her, which I saw. And then she fell on the stove, and for a second I was like, "What? Why is this bitch on fire?" And then I was like, "Oh, the hand sanitizer."
She was like, "Fucking hair sanitizer." That was so
But I loved Gail. But also, if they would have just had that scene of like Dewey watching Gail on her morning talk show, and that was all we saw of Gail, I would have been okay with
that
that.
would have been fine. Because honestly, like Sydney nor Gale were needed. If they had just went to get Dewey's help because he was the only one who was there, like still that they could get to, that would have been fine for me.
Yes. That's weird to say, given all the Dewey hate we've given over like 6 episodes. But
Yeah,
he would have been
it would have been fine.
the perfect legacy.
Yeah, it would have been fine because um Sydney personally didn't she didn't need to come back. Obviously, not saying this ain't got nothing to do with her, but this ain't got nothing to do with her this time, really, because I was that girl mama and Billy, not her and Billy. He may have cheated on her.
Ain't my
Yeah,
baby, ain't my
yeah,
problem.
he may have cheated on her, but still, she got her man Mark. She got her Mark, and she good now. So, and she got her kid. So, that was that. She didn't have to come back, but Dewey being like the catalyst for her to come back makes the most sense anyway.
What about you, Maria? Did you enjoy Gail? The little we saw of her?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she didn't really like stick out to me much in this movie. I think Dewey made like a bigger impression than she did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think my favorite scene is yeah, when her and Sydney, beat up Amber. That scene was great. Like it was very entertaining to watch. Um, because it was two of them against like one person, and it's kind of funny because they're both grown
Whooping her
women
ass.
beating up this, yeah. Um, and that scene where like Amber catches on fire, that got me. I did not expect
That
that
shit was
at
so funny.
all.
Same. But
I
also
mean,
the scene outside when she was like Amber came out crying and they're like, do we believe this? Not a chance in hell. And then they started to shoot her.
I
I
swear,
was like, what the fuck?
that's so funny though, because they're so seasoned at this point. They're like, we're not falling for this shit anymore.
But Jesus Christ. They whooped her ass in the kitchen though.
Yeah,
Big ups
they
to them.
did.
I'm proud. But then what about Sydney? And biggest shock is that Sydney is married and has kid with Detective Mark from Scream 3. That was
yeah.
like that was a
Why is it a
fucking
big
deep cut.
shock?
Cause they didn't say shit about him in Scream 4.
That is true.
Well, she was on a book tour. And it wasn't about Mark. It was about
But
Sydney
they didn't
before.
even mention Mark. There was no mention of like a love interest or shit. I feel like that's something you would be like that
Maybe
would
they
be
were trying to
something
figure
that
things out.
that's something that that Gail or Dewey would have mentioned when they saw her for the first time in Screen 4. Like, oh, so how was Mark? How's the book tour? Where is Mark? Like,
Yeah,
But no, but now she has 3 kids with Mark.
yeah.
That was
It
wild.
it definitely, yeah, because I don't know if that was like, I don't even know if like that was a Wes Craven thing before he passed, or if that was just the direct these like writers and directors.
I just think they were just trying to like tie the whole
Yeah,
series in.
which even so, even so, I'm like, well, that's cool that they actually went back and just and went back and gave someone from, a past movie who we she had a love interest in. So I was like, well, that's cool, that fits. But like I can't never not like Sydney. Like anytime she's in the screen movie, like I still liked her in this one. Like even though she wasn't like there until like basically just at the ending, but she did what she had to do. She came in like assisted as she could. Like I think my favorite scene of hers in this movie was when she was going up to every door and busting a cap in the door before she opened it.
She gave them a warning. She was like, "If you're not the
Yeah.
killer, come out right now." She waited like a good minute and then started shooting open doors. I was like, as she
I was
should.
like, yes, this is what we're doing. And then Richie has got shot, which he deserved. But yeah, that was
Why didn't you
perfect.
come out? Because you were shooting. She's shooting because you didn't come the fuck out. Like, get the fuck out the closet, you dumbass.
Yeah, it was even funnier though like well, not even funny, but like Sydney was trying to get Sam to stay, and Sam was like, "No," she's like, "No, girl, we leaving."
And she put a fucking tracking device on the car. I was like, Sydney been learning. I fuck with Sydney.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
Sydney Prescott, I got a gun, I got this.
She was like, I am not coming back to Woodsboro, Dewey. Don't worry about it. I'm
No,
staying the fuck
literally, she's
away.
like, "Yeah, you don't even gotta worry about it."
And then I was like, okay, so I was like, so either Dewey or Gil is gonna die, and that's why she's gonna come back. And I was right. She couldn't stay away once Dewey got killed. She was like, nah, they targeting legacy characters. I got kids now.
Hmm.
I'm bringing a fight to y'all. Fuck this motherfucker. What about you, Maria? How'd you like Sydney this time around?
I liked her, I guess. Like she was cool. Cause she's fucking Sydney Prescott. But again, like I feel like I didn't really see much of her. She just honestly, she just looks tired of all this shit.
Literally, and I love
Like
that
she
too.
came in, she was like, and right away she was like, we're gonna fucking kill this guy. Like that's it. Like done. We're gonna find them. We're gonna kill them, and that's it. Like I'm done here. I gotta go back to my kids, and which, which is cool, but it's just I don't know. She just looks very tired. Like this shit again.
And I feel like actually we're all for legacy characters. I mean, I'm gonna include Judy in that. We didn't see that much of them, but of what we did see of them was like impactful.
Yeah,
Like it did its
Yeah.
job. We got enough of all 4 of them, and they killed 2 legacy characters, and 2 legacy characters survived. So I guess it was even.
yeah, and I like the way they went about it, because like you said, it wasn't their story this time around, but just like other requels, some of the legacy characters have to go.
Yep. Because to be honest, I still think Lori should have died in Halloween Kills, but that's just me. That's just me. What do you guys think about Amber, who I refer to as the ruthless Ghostface?
Amber, uh,
I can't even tell you when Richie was fucking Ghostface. Because I feel like
that's what I'm trying
the
to think
opening
too.
attack, the opening attack was Amber.
Yep.
Because Richie was with Sam, and then Amber killed Vince because she was at the bar, so she was in close proximity to Vince. She killed Dewey because we
Saw
saw
Richie.
Richie there, and
She also had to be the one who attacked Sam in the hospital because dude
yeah,
Richie was like in another room, and he couldn't he
mm-hmm,
could he couldn't have changed that quick.
and I'm pretty sure she's the one who attacked Chad
Yep.
because Mindy saw Richie go downstairs for the beer.
Well, no, that
Chad was attacked
uh,
as
yeah.
Richie was
So
pulling
that
up.
was Amber also. Did Richie do anything?
Richie might have been the one who killed Judy and Wes.
Um,
That might have been him. But I feel like
but wasn't
all the
he at the
big like
hospital
cool.
though?
Oh, he was at the hospital. Okay, so that was also Amber. Why say do Richie ain't do shit?
Yeah,
He was.
like she killed Liv with the gun. Like, yeah, what did Richie do? He just put this together.
I don't. At least Stu killed some people. At least fucking Timothy Oliphant character killed some people. I don't think Richie did shit. He was just there for the credit
Shit,
at the
Ember
end.
is putting
But
in.
yeah,
Ember is putting in that heavy work.
yes.
She's working overtime as Ghostface.
But her Ghostface was the most ruthless out of all the Ghostface
Oh yeah,
that we've seen so
the
far.
way she just went up to
She was the
Vince,
most
just got him in
ruthless.
the neck and let him go. I was like, oh shit.
And the whole fucking toxic fan shit, I was like, this is definitely true.
The
I haven't
motive
like,
was. I love the motive.
and it was because I have like four different Twitter accounts, and one of them is like devoted to all my weird fandom because I'm a huge Marvel fan, soap opera fan, Doctor Who fan, and like the Doctor Who fandom and the soap opera fandom are so fucking crazy, psychotic,
I
toxic, and
know
I
the
was like,
Doctor.
I can
I don't
see
watch Doctor Who, but I know the Doctor Who fandom is
it's
crazy.
wild, bro. Like the tweets that I see, the death threats, the fucking the threats in general. I'm like, this is some shit I would see. This is what I would see.
And even like
So I was like, this rings
and
true.
even like people's response to this movie makes the motive even better.
Yes, I'm like the people the producers and writers are calling you people out as you're on fucking Twitter going crazy. I'm like, they're talking about you people.
Yep.
Get some fucking context clues. They're talking about you as you're on Twitter being crazy about the movie. But what did you guys think about Amber and her motive?
Amber. So I did a little bit think Amber was the killer, but like once we got towards the end at the house, I was kind of thinking Liv, but I didn't know. But at the same point, I was like, Liv is a little. She don't look like she. I feel like she a little ditzy, so I don't know. I wasn't really getting that vibe all the way.
I fucking forgot Live.
Yeah. So she was a little.
But so did the movie. So did the movie.
Yeah, she was kind of a little ditzy to me, and like I don't know, I didn't really see it for her all the way. But then at the end, when it actually was Amber, I was like, okay, so the little hunch that I did have, I was like, okay, it paid off a little bit. But I was suspecting her most of the movie. Now, when the party was at her house though, and I was like, so y'all don't know what house y'all in? I'm like, does nobody know?
Yeah, I feel like they would know what that Stu Macher's
Yeah,
house.
cause I'm like, okay,
You
I like.
you guys are fans of the Stab like franchise. How do you not know this is Stu Macher's house? Like
Yeah,
that big reveal. I was like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
like I'm like, so nobody knew this was that house that all this happened in. Y'all at a party?
She did
Yeah, yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
but
we know
like,
she did. And like, well, I'm like, come on now, like y'all nobody at this party
and y'all all watched the fucking movie, and like, and when they're watching, when Mindy's watching Stab on the TV, I'm like, that's literally the exact same setup that you're
know. I
in
swear,
now.
I'm like, I would probably, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have went to the party.
Like y'all dumb as fuck. Like I'm like, is that the house from Stab? I'm not going there.
Yeah, so that was already a little interesting, but yeah, her motive though for it all, and like her and Ricky's motive, it was so funny just listening to it. I saw the movie, so I took my mom to see the movie, so I was like, she doesn't know like the fandom and stuff, but like I was like laughing throughout that motive because it just like I don't want to say it sounds real, but it just sounds like people online.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't see like I probably
The
yeah, like
Twitterverse.
people on Twitter, and just like how certain things like they do become realized at certain points. Like if you go back to like I don't know if you remember like the girls when they thought they were gonna summon Slender Man, but like killing one of their friends or something, like things like that. Like people bringing like online things or like things that they are fans of into real life. Like like that stuff happens to like an extent, and just like the fans they really go crazy for this stuff, and like they have so much like love for it that they feel they're the only ones who know how to properly handle it and things like that. And I feel that motive it fits for today's culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the writers did a good job with it, and like people I saw like a lot of people online saying they didn't like the motive, and then it's so funny. I'm like, y'all are playing right into what they were just talking about.
They don't, they don't like the motive because they're the fucking toxic
Yep.
fans. That's the issue. But what about you, Maria? Did you like Amber? Did you like her motive? What did you think about the character?
I liked her. Honestly, I think out of like all like the ghost face, she was the most obvious. I don't know. Like as soon as I saw her, I'm like, she. I don't know. She has to be one of the killers. Like she just has to. And yeah, and she was like, I mean, if she's the one who killed most of like like everybody else, then she is a ruthless as hell because everything was so bloody, and she would just stab and stab and stab and stab, and like I feel like generally, like in the other movies, Ghostface just stabs somebody once and that's it, they're dead and that's it, but like no, she would just go, and then honestly, she kind of reminded me a lot of Stu. She
Mm-hmm.
had she felt very like I'm assuming Richie influenced her a lot or like
I
got her
don't
to
know,
be the
cause
one who killed everybody.
I don't know because she said when she realized that her parents had bought Stumacher's house, she became like obsessed with it. So I feel like she might have been the one to initiate the whole let's
I feel like
fix the
she was
stab
just
franchise.
very I feel like she was just really easily like
Convinced. Yeah, that's
influenced,
the word. That
Yeah, like
I feel like I feel like she was the one in I feel like she's the Billy in in that relationship.
I feel
That's
like
that's how
honestly,
I saw it.
I feel like it was Richie. Like Richie, he may seem like I mean, he can't be like Billy, right? But he definitely seems like in control. I mean, because I mean, generally though, if he's the one who kind of like not generally, but like if Amber is the one who basically killed everybody, then technically Billy's hands are kind of clean. Like he can easily just say, well, it's her. She's the one who's kind of obsessed. She's kind of crazy. Richie was only. I mean, he never said that he killed anybody, but I don't know. That's kind of just what I got from the both of them. Amber just seemed like just excited just to kill someone, but Richie, I mean, he seemed more level headed than she was.
I looked it up because no, I know someone was gonna break it down, but I know exactly who Amber killed. She killed Vince. I was right about that. She killed a deputy in the hospital. She killed Dewey, and she killed Liv. And she attacked Sam at the hospital. And she also attacked Tara. So Richie killed Judy and Wes. That's it. He did nothing. But let's talk about Wes. I
wait,
Wes was
West or
he was
Richie?
there. Now Wes
There we go.
Richie. Let's talk about Richie. Richie was just there. I didn't. Once he's like, oh yeah, we've been together for 6 months. I was like,
Even yes,
yeah,
even
fam.
when Dewey was like 6 months.
You. That's when I started to side him. I was like, yeah, Dewey had a point. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, he
The guy's
wasn't
taking over.
like
Go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say like he wasn't much. Honestly, I feel like he was definitely just trying to be like Billy. He was definitely trying to be like the mastermind or whatever. And also, I thought it was weird that he was so focused on these stab movies while literally your girlfriend of 6 months, like, of like her sister's literally in the hospital, but you're over here entertained by these movies. Like, okay.
Binging all of them on Netflix and then watching YouTube videos about it. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, yeah, that seemed really weird. Like, I get it, you want to watch the movies. Maybe like the first one, fine, but like, and then he started to like analyze them, and I was like, that's kind of weird, especially with everything going on. I mean, I'm assuming like, you know, you wouldn't try to dive too much into it. Honestly, he just seemed like a little bitch. Like I feel like he was trying so hard to like, you know, in a way to kind of like be like Billy and to be, like yes, I'm a serial killer too. Like I killed people, but realistically, he only killed two people. Amber did everything else, and Amber is, younger, but she was more ruthless than Richie. But I feel like no one really like he never really. I mean, I'm assuming if they ever did get caught, I don't. He will probably never really give her the credit for that. For her being like as you know as ruthless as she was and as aggressive as she was. I feel like, I don't know. He just seems like a little bitch, honestly.
Like I'm gonna just say, I just always say in a Scream movie, if they got a boyfriend or love interest, I just think it's them. So he was just at the top of my list anyway. Even if it wasn't him, it was just always gonna be at the top of my list. Then when it was him, I didn't feel like any relief that it was him or anything. I was just like, well, be the boyfriend. So, he's one of the killers. But I felt like he was like, I don't want to say he was fully the brains, but I feel like he was a little bit more brains, and Amber was there to do her part in it. I feel like he probably had the most influence on the situation, and like telling her what to do or what they should do with it all, and then she was just following along and putting it into action. So he probably did do a lot, but to me, he didn't do a lot as far as their plan went, because Amber did most of it. She got everybody at her
She
house.
did all the cool
Yeah, she
shit.
had all the cool shit. She got everybody at her house. She like only thing he did was, well, kill Judy and Wes, and he took the asthma pump.
Mm-hmm. He didn't do shit. And then, where the fuck was Tara and Sam's mom the entire movie?
That they said she was in
On the fucking
they said she
cruise?
was in
Like,
London
did
She was in
for
London. She was
for
on
work.
a business
Yeah,
trip.
what the fuck?
what
See, that made me suspicious because I was like, wait, they had they had Sydney's dad that entire first movie.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna go into a closet and out comes her mom, but they did not do that. I was a
I
little
didn't even I
disappointed.
didn't even think
I was
about
like,
that, but yeah, I was. But when
I mean, if he wasn't there, she wasn't there. Sydney would have shot her ass. So,
True.
oh my god, imagine that'd have been terrible, yo. but
like, sorry, Sam, I killed your mom.
But when they did say
Sorry.
she was like in London, I'm like, your daughter just got attacked. She in the hospital. I'd have been back like the next day.
Facts. Like, I gotta do
I'm
something.
like, my daughter was attacked. She was stabbed and is in the hospital. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is. I don't care. This is a business trip. Like, I had to go home.
And speaking of parents, like, why was Randy's sister okay with letting her kids like go out and about? I'm like, Ghostface
You
murdered
right.
your brother, and you're okay with your kids being a part of this investigation. I feel like she should have teamed up with Dewey, be like, we have to stop this shit. They're coming after my kids. Ghostface took my brother, won't take my kids. But no, she
Brought
just
out cookies.
had that one scene, disappeared.
Yeah, she brought.
They made her seem so like,
Ditzy.
yeah.
And she made that rude comment to Dewey. She's like, Dewey, you look, Dewey. I was like, damn, like, bitch, go away. Go the fuck away. Like,
You've grown too attached to do it. Stop it.
I have. I have. But I want to talk about special mention. Kirby survived part 4.
yes.
Confirmed in the YouTube
Yes.
thumbnail.
Yes. Yes.
Apparently she gave like an interview or something. I was like, yeah. And they gave her a special like mention at the end of the movie too.
I
Because they used her
I
photo.
need my girl to come back in the sixth movie and team up with Mindy and be besties.
Or they can be together, whatever. They can meet or some
Yeah,
shit. No, I feel like Kirby is like what is way older than Mindy. So
she
no,
gotta
but
be.
still,
Yeah,
She
I
she
think
gotta.
should
If
definitely
it's been like
when
10 years, she definitely about to be in her 30s. If they were in high school last time,
Mm-hmm. I was like, damn. I was like, yes, Kirby survived, and also they had an appearance by like James A. Janice and his fiance
yeah, that was
Chelsea,
so
who do
funny to me.
the dead meat. I was like, what the fuck? And then I watched some interviews, and the actor who plays Chad, He's apparently like a huge dead meat fan. So when he saw them, he started to like freak. He was like, "Oh my god, I love you guys.
That's so
I
funny.
can't wait to see you. I can't wait for you guys to do the kill count. Did you guys like yourselves in it?" I was like, "Oh, this is. I like
Yeah,
this."
that was so funny to me, and especially because they were like ragging us stab eight. That was even better.
Yes. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "This is like I'm liking this." I'm like, the person who wrote this paid a lot of attention to like
The culture.
the Kevin Williamson
Yeah,
when he wrote like the first one, the second one, and the fourth one.
yeah, that was good.
But I enjoyed it. My hot take is that this is the best sequel. This is the best sequel, if you ask me.
I could agree. I could personally agree. One thing that okay at the in the opening scene though, when um what it was when Tara got the call, and she supposedly was like had like a live stream video of like Amber in her room. Does it did it did it was that really supposed to be like live stream video?
No, it wasn't live stream. It was just like a regular. It was just a video. It wasn't live
Okay,
stream. He just sent the
okay,
video.
because I thought they said that was like a live video of Amber's room in the movie, and I
Mm-mm.
was about to be like, is there a third killer we don't know about?
No, I'm pretty sure like Richie like filmed that before as like a setup plan,
Yeah.
so she can just send
All
it.
right, I was just making
But then,
sure because I'm like, hold on.
yeah. But let's talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff. So the budget for this was $24 million, and as of now, they've made $53.8 million.
Go crazy.
But the movie is still playing in theaters, so it could go up. And then this also isn't accounting for um like streaming and stuff. So I'm pretty sure this movie's gonna make a lot of money. So there might be a sequel on the horizon. I just hope they do it right. Leave Gail and Sydney alone. I feel like this movie put a definitive end to Gail and Sydney's
I think
story.
so. We basically saw with this one what a story without them pretty much would look like, and it
Yeah,
it
and it'd be
worked.
good with their right character. I mean, who survived at the end? So the survivors are Sam, Tara, Mindy, Chad.
That's it.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's good enough for me. We have a core four. Kill off two of them in the next one. What they should do is kill Tara and open a scene in the next one. She survived the first opening scene,
I
dies in
feel
the
like
next
if
one.
if
But
they do
what?
do another one, I feel like Chad will die, so that they'll keep Mindy,
Yeah,
because
Chad's
since they
gone.
didn't keep Randy, they'll keep Mindy.
Yeah, Chad's
Yeah,
gone. But some interesting facts. This is the first film in the franchise not to be directed by Wes Craven, who sadly passed away in 2015. This is the second movie not to be written by Kevin Williamson. The movie was directed and produced by the Radio Silence guys. You know, they're the ones who brought us Ready or Not, a movie that I haven't seen, but we will be covering on this
yes,
podcast at
that's a
some point.
great.
But I
I
hear
love
good
that
things about
movie.
Ready or Not. And then Nev Campbell only agreed to come back if the script respected Wes Craven's legacy, which I feel like it
I
did.
think so. It definitely did.
Yep. Currently, this movie has a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Chicago Tribune wrote that if we were to make a franchise reboot comparison, Scream lands about halfway between pretty good, pretty good as Halloween 2018, and run of the mill like its follow up, Halloween Kills, which I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
I feel like it's on the good side with Halloween Kills. I mean Halloween 2018. I don't think it's anywhere near Halloween Kills because
Nowhere near.
that was tragic.
Yeah,
Which is my fear if they have a sequel for this because I loved Halloween 2018 and I was so pumped for the sequel and it was a major letdown. So I just hope that a sequel to this won't be a letdown.
yeah. Well, I will say before the Halloween like reboot movies that they did, didn't. I don't think I looked into like who was like directing and stuff like that as much as this one, because I knew that these directors did like the directors and the writers and stuff. They did. Ready or Not, I already have faith just based on that, and if they keep them, I will be very happy because once you see Ready or Not, you'll see what I mean because like the way that it's like kind of written and like how it's funny and stuff like Scream, and then the way they go about like certain like horror elements, it works and. It works a
Mm-hmm.
lot in that when they were announced, I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. I can just sense it. But for Halloween, I don't think I looked into who did the stuff for Halloween.
I did, and it gave me no hope. But the first movie gave me hope. The
That's
second
how
was a
that's how it
letdown.
was for me too. Yeah, I watched the first one. I was like, okay, they did some things.
Danny McBride didn't make it a fucking comedy, but then we got to the Halloween Kills, and well, yeah, the New York Times said New York Times gave this film a negative review, criticizing the fan service, saying that uh, it's repetitive and entirely fright free. Scream teaches us mainly that planting Easter eggs is no substitute for seeding ideas. I have no idea what movie they watched.
Yeah,
To be, was I scared? No.
but when have you ever been
Was
scared in a Scream movie?
yeah, I feel like at this point people have seen so many horror movies that you kind of pick up on everything. But the execution was great, the gore was great. I enjoyed it. It wasn't. I don't know.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
all the movies are full of Easter eggs, you know?
That's the whole
Like,
point of the
And yeah,
movies.
like
yeah, like the whole franchise, it always goes back to one thing, you know, something in the first movie, something in the third movie. Like, it always just it comes back one way or another, you know?
I don't. Yeah, I don't get what they would really mean by that personally, because the whole thing of Scream is it's it's a horror movie, but it's like they have like the comedic undertones, and then it goes into meta commentary on current horror. So it's that's their thing. They call back and like they literally have this. They have the Scream franchise in the movies. Like, come on, they
Hmm.
basically have the movies in the movies that we're watching.
But to end, what do you guys give Scream 2022, aka Scream 5, a review out of 5? Maria?
Um, I would give it like a four. Um, and I think it's mostly just because I was expecting for it to be worse. I think I had my expectations really low, but it was a lot better than I thought it was. And you know, and personally, I like when things kind of connect to things, you know, to like movies. Like you know, so the first movie, I like when things kind of when it comes back. I like the fact that it didn't rely so heavily on like, you know, Sydney and Gail has to save everyone, um, and I liked that it was gory too. I liked that there was a lot more blood and there was a lot more like, you know, stabbing than the first four movies. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, so 4 out of 5.
Taiwan?
I agree. Also, I also would give it a 4 out of 5. I personally ranked the first movie, Scream, a 5 out of 5. So, I didn't think it was like better than that one. So yeah, I just rated it 4 out of 5, which I'm fine with that ranking. Um, I like the movie. I'm glad that Scream is back. I feel like it lived up to the expectations that I had in my head for the movie. I feel like the writers and the directors they did good to like pay homage to Wes Craven and like I don't want to say like this is probably the movie he would have made, but I feel like maybe if somebody had never like seen the Scream movies and they watched all of them, they probably would think they were all made by the same person, including this one. So I feel like that's good to like you can just kind of it fits right into the rest of the movies in a good way that works for like the current climate of like the way movies are right now, and like calling and using like the meta commentary to go on like elevated horror and like movies like that. And the casting I felt was good. They gave us some good characters. If we do get a sixth movie to like lead off of, and they brought back the legacy characters and in a good way that doesn't make the story rely on them as like a crutch, which I personally liked as well because that's what I was hoping that they didn't do was they relied more on the legacy characters instead of the new characters, but they didn't, which is a really good part. So overall, I really like the movie. I hope we get another one. They made their money back already, and for a January horror movie, that's really good.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the first one came out in December, so when people were like, "Oh my god, why is it coming out in January?" I'm concerned. I was like, "You do know that Scream '96 came out
Yeah.
like a week before Christmas, so this is what Scream like. The whole point was like Wes Craven was like, we're gonna put it out in Christmas because what are horror movie fans watching in Christmas? They don't want to watch fucking Santa Claus movies. I'll give them a horror movie,
Yep.
and it worked then, and it worked now.
Yep. But I feel like now, most people if they see a January horror movie is like the bane because most January horror movies now are or like if they're at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
year or at the beginning of the year, it's mostly the movies that they like dropped because they weren't gonna
Mm-hmm.
release them around Halloween.
But it has to be like it has to be a horror movie that has legs and that can make it on its
Yeah.
own. And Scream is one of those movies. And for me, I also give it a 4 out of 5 because it's not as good as the first one, but it's the best one since the
Hmm.
first one. So also, I think it did what four tried to do but couldn't do, and it successfully weaved out the legacy characters. And like I was excited when they popped up on the screen, but I wasn't missing
Yeah.
them, which is a huge plus for me because whenever I didn't see the legacy characters in Scream 4, I was if it wasn't Kirby, I was bored. I wasn't
Yep.
interested. But in this one, I was completely invested in the characters outside of Gail, Dewey, Judy, and
Hmm.
Sydney.
Yeah, because I think like for once it wasn't revolved like around Sydney, you know? Like the
Mm-hmm.
killings didn't start because of Sydney or because her mom or her family. It was because of someone else, you know? So they switched the story surrounding, because yeah, like they switched up the story surrounding, Sydney for it to kind of like move on to someone else, which I thought was pretty cool
I'm just glad no one was slut shamed for this in this movie
True.
for
because I feel
once.
like those first three movies they slut shamed the hell out of Maureen, and in the third one, like, oh yeah, by the way, she was like raped by like movie producers and had a kid that she was like ashamed of because she was traumatized. But then they kept slut shaming her, and then they didn't really talk about her much in the fourth movie. And with this one, when she said, "Yeah, I'm Billy Loomis's like long lost daughter," mom got pregnant and then told dad it was his because she was ashamed. I was like, they're gonna slut shame her, but they didn't, and I was like, we've grown. We've grown. No, no more of that stupid shit. So good. I was excited. I enjoyed this movie. I went in there with I had no expectation. Well, I had expectations. It's a Scream movie, but for me, I would say as long as it's better than the fourth one, which was which in my ranking episode 4 was like at the bottom of my list, and I was like, as long as it's better than the fourth one, I'm good. But this is the best sequel of all four of them for me. So it's a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed this. And I enjoyed doing all these Scream reviews with you two. Thank you guys so much for joining
Yes, of
us.
course.
But join me next week as I review Hush. No, I'm reviewing The Invisible Man next week, which should be good. It's one of those elevated horror movies, as Mindy would say. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys come back soon. This is Haddonfield Horrors Podcast. The Haddonfield Horrors Podcast is a Letters to Media production. Should we do an intro?